Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining me, Wendy Anderson, justbe.me. So I wanted to talk about the things that have been coming up for me in this school of life. And I've been feeling really disconnected from people, from places, from work, from everything. And when you're in it, you just got to feel it and be vulnerable and surrender into it and just go with the flow as to however it is that you're feeling, because you know it's not going to be forever. You know it's just going to be a temporary situation, whatever you're feeling at the moment. So just go with it. While you're going through it and while you are feeling absolutely everything, what we can do, suggestions, is just be as kind to ourselves as we possibly can. So when I say be as kind to yourself as you possibly can, so for me it turns up in the way of my daily self-love ritual, something that just helps me find a little bit of balance and a little bit of alignment just in that moment. It can be a little bit of yoga, meditation, walking out, hugging trees. Actually, I got caught hugging a tree the other day, luckily by a fellow tree hugger. It's kind of like I was quite happily, spending this moment with this tree. And I was just in awe of these two trees for some reason. They just felt so good. And I know, it's crazy, isn't it? And all of a sudden I up from nowhere, made me jump. And I'm like, I says, you caught me hugging trees. I says, they're having a moment, having a conversation here, and yeah, expecting, this beautiful man with his two Labradors to kind of like just look at me as though I was crazy and wander off, which is normally what happens, to be fair. But he didn't. We ended up having like a half-hour conversation about the trees in the woods, that he likes to have his own moments with trees and things like that. Didn't delve into those secrets. But no, I'm sure it was just conversations and hugging trees and enjoying it. And his profession was dog walker, so he says I spend 4 or 5 hours every day kind of like in these woods, and I just find something new every time I come in. um, and he looks at me and I just went, these two trees just absolutely beautiful. Now I had to come off the path to come to these trees. There's just something that said, just go this direction. And it was off the path. It was in kind of like all the undergrowth and everything else. Literally have to lifted my knees up to kind of like to get to these trees and everything. I just had to stand, just looking at them for ages. They just felt so like they'd got many tales to tell. Like the wisdom that they'd stood in for time was just very, very precious, just a precious energy. So that's what I was feeling. Not only that, I wanted a quick Jimmy Riddle kind of like, so it's luckily that the bloke didn't kind of like come 2 minutes earlier, otherwise that wouldn't have been very glamorous. So I just stood at these trees and he just went, good choice in trees. He says these two trees here, he says this is the oldest part of the woods. And I wouldn't say it's the most attractive part of the woods because it doesn't have the stream running through it or anything like that. But it says these are the oldest parts of the woods, and he says these are the oldest two trees out of the whole of the woods. And they don't particularly look any different to any of the other trees in the woods. There was just something that draws you into them, that there's just, I know, just something beautiful about them that I can't really put into words. So apologies for that. You just have to go and hug them and see for yourself and just spend some moments with them. So yeah, that was my life lesson of getting caught tree hugging. Put your ego to one side, feeling the magic of the woods and feeling the magic of nature and being in the plants and the trees and everything else. I can't describe it and I can't put it into words. you can just sense it, that there's just an exchange of energy that just happens. And when I've had my time in the woods and everything else, I just feel calmer. I just feel more aligned. I feel safer with going about my everyday activities and things. I feel safer with trees than I do with people, ironically. And maybe that's it. That is just the opportunity, right? Take this energy of feeling safe. How can you feel that and apply that into your relationships with people? How can you feel safe with them? And it literally, me with the trees, is just being. It's just feeling into that energy. There has to be no words spoken. There has to be nothing given, nothing taken. It just literally is just being. Um, and if and it's bringing that energy into relationships, I think, is there's nothing needs to be given or taken. It's just to be with the person, just to feel what you can feel. And what I'm learning as well about the empathic and narcissistic relationships, which are so beautiful, we need both archetypes to learn with, is to not absorb, just to observe, is to be the lighthouse, not the lifeboat. And there have been people around me that have been unwell or in their own suffering and clearing their own programming out, and that's fine. And ordinarily, me, I would want to be the saviour, to be the hero, to be the rescuer. And I've found myself these last few weeks just stepping back, just observing how they are being, not having to feel like I need to give advice, give treatments, give anything, is to just be with them. And that's felt very difficult because in the first part, it was I was feeling hugely selfish, and watching somebody suffer can be create your own suffering as well. So in the beginning it felt really hard, and it's kind of like, no, just go with it, just keep up. You know, your higher self is saying stand back, stand back, stand back. There's a reason for it. You don't understand it at the minute, but you will when you come out the other end of the tunnel and there's a light shining on it. But when you're in it, you can't really see it. You need to kind of like, okay, I've gone through it, now I'm taking a step back from it, right? I'm being the observer of it without judgment. So I stepped back from other people's suffering and just more or less continued to get on with the things that that I needed to do. So this has been the first time for me ever. Also as well, the last few weeks gave me opportunity to verbally ask for what I needed, whether that be space, whether that be somebody to actually come with me to do something, whatever it is that I felt in that moment I needed. I haven't, ordinarily I'm self-assured, and it's kind of like, I've got this, I'm doing this regardless of whatever, you know, however I'm feeling, don't worry about it, I'll just go on my own kind of thing, or I'll just do this. So for me, asking for somebody to actually attend something with me is the first time that I've ever asked for that. Normally I'll turn up to things on my own. But it was interesting because the other person actually got a lot out of coming with me as well, so it actually served them as much as it did me just simply asking. And it's kind of like when that person turned around to me and went, oh, well, I didn't really want to go, but do you know what, because you've asked and because it's something that you're passionate about, and you've been to things that I've been passionate about, yeah, I'll do that for you. I'm not quite sure what's in it for me yet, but yeah, I'll come with you. And it brought up triggers for them that they didn't realise that they were triggered by. And it gave them the opportunity to have a look at things deeply as well. So basically it was my husband who, he loves to meditate and he loves things spiritual, but he's not into it as I am. And that's fine and that's okay. So it was some speakers, some spiritual speakers, something that it's not particularly his core values, but it's so important to me. And in that moment, I felt so valued by myself for asking for my needs, and valued by my husband, who actually said, yeah, I'll do this for you. What's 2 hours out of my life? I'll do it for you. And this is why he's awesome. But I wouldn't expect him to fully follow my quests 100%, because that wouldn't be fair of me to ask that. So as well, what's been coming up in my school of life is quests. Are you following and committing to your quest, or are you committing to somebody else's? Now, I'm seeing this as a balance of 50-50. If you're completely doing your own thing and you're just doing your own quest 100%, then you're potentially in the narcissistic realms. Now, if you are doing somebody else's quest 100%, you're in the empath realms. So there needs to kind of like be a balance to come into the middle. So it's okay to do your quest and to do somebody else's. So it's dividing your time and being boundaried 50-50. It's kind of like know when to close the doors and know when to open them as well. And sometimes we need to learn to fully close them and be the little bit of a narcissist in order to regain the energy and to have that little bit of experience to say, right, I'm ready to open the doors again. And I feel there's been a little bit of this energy coming up as well, big time in relationships, where I felt that we've needed to disconnect from people, from jobs, from places even. So if you're feeling kind of like, right, where I'm living is it's no longer connecting, I'm not connecting with it. My work, I'm no longer connecting with that. I'm not serving it, and it's not serving me. And the people in our lives, relationships, am I serving it, or is it serving me? There's a whole reevaluation, and we've needed it. And the whole reevaluation is purely for realignment. And our primary soul purpose is to experience joy, create joy in this lifetime. Which is a very angelic quality. So yeah, if those of you who've got angelic DNA, that will be quite a strong pull for you. So that's our primary soul purpose, is to create joy, to be in joy, and to be happy, and everything that we can create is in alignment with that energy of creating joy, and that's just one purpose. So that's primary soul purpose. And then we have so that is a collective soul purpose: find joy, create joy. And then you've got your unique soul purpose, which is purely just for you. So this is your quest, your journey. So soul purpose, if you are kind of like feeling, I don't know what it is, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, then when we've experienced some kind of trauma growing up, or in workplace, educational systems, parents, what we've tended to do is we've gone along with somebody else's core values in order just to survive. Because if you come away from somebody else's core values, you either isolated, punished, ridiculed, and that lessoning is quite hard to go through repeatedly. So we've tended to come out, I've got the t-shirt and the mug of that one, I'm just going to go along with somebody else's core values, and I'm safe, I'm okay for the time being. But when we've got into that habit of doing that so much, or following somebody else's quest and somebody else's core values, then we begin to lose ourselves. It's like, who do we are? What is important to me? So even just this morning, I had a little sit down, and it's kind of, I want to move forward. I'm coming up that age where it's going to be empty nest syndrome, and I don't kind of like want to go on the neurotic mother path. I have to let the children go and kind of like live their lives. That's what a parent is. You raise them and you let them fly. and you give them the lift and the wind between their under their wings to go to find their passions, to do what's important to them, and to really create with their own unique core values, which is for them and not yours. So you have to learn to let go. So in the letting go process, it's what else can I create? So there's some projects that I want to get on with, but there's a big one that I want to get on with, and it's feeling like a mammoth mountain that is kind of like, I can't even get to the base station yet because it just feels so mammoth. So what my guides have told me to do is break it down. Break it down to each camp as you climb. Just give yourself one small goal to get to. But once you make the first goal and you think, I've learned something new, I can feel the success in the learning something new, then you can move forward to doing more of it, because it can be quite addictive. Once you've done one step, you want to do the next one because you see the progression, you see the success, and you just want to keep doing it. Also, it's holding awareness of where is it that I'm 100% kind of like really focused into doing this, because then you're going into narcissistic realms. So it's kind of like, I'm doing this 50%, but there is a quest of others that I can also walk with them on their journey as well. So that's the balance in this right now. So make small goals within it. And I'm sitting down, and it's kind of like the main one that I want to do was the why. Why is this important to me? Why do I want to do it? So a little exercise that we could do is heart, paper, mind, is spend 5 minutes with you. And this is the whole reason why we have been feeling separation, disconnect from other people, disconnect from the job, disconnect from my home, just to be in a space where you've just of disconnection, because then it gives you opportunity to reconnect and realign with yourself. When I'm not in anyone else's values, where I'm not in my house values, whatever that is, because that's, your house values tend to be an external value anyway, what we think we should have, not what we need. So it's all still got energy. So we have disconnected from all of those energetic fields purely to reconnect with self. So if you've been feeling so disconnected recently, you're getting it right. Well done. Brilliant. Because it's solely to reconnect with self. So pull away from everything else, and it's okay to do that. You're not being selfish. It's part of the ascension. And then it's realigning, what are my core values? What is it that I love to do? So for example, what is it that floats my boat? What makes my heart sing? What makes me smile when I'm doing it? What makes me forget time when I'm in that flow of whatever it is that I'm loving doing? So for me personally, my unique loves are anything esoteric, spiritual, whether I just love that. I love storytelling and listening. I just love stories. So people's life stories, I could just sit and listen to people's stories, their ancestral stories, their life stories, just all day long. But I also like telling my stories as well, because I feel all of our stories has so much nutritional value in it that is just beautiful. Because then it also reminds us of who we are and what we are, which is create beings that are made out of love frequency, which is the highest frequency that there is. I am so loved, I am so valued, I am so worthy. Ain't that a nice feeling to remember? So yeah, so then it's kind of like, right, well, what pursuits can I put those core values into? So I've come up with something with help from guides and everything else, and it's feeling scary and mammoth, but I know that I've just got to devote this to me as well, not just devote myself to other people's projects, but also devote myself to my own projects as well, because I am worthy and valued. And I'm not going to tell you about it until it's created. So I don't want to tell anyone about my plans of the future, because that also opens a file of energy. And if that person may be feeling envious or they're a little bit of a sadist, then it can put an energy into whatever it is that you are creating. So best not to speak of it until you've kind of created it, is what I've been told as well. Bye my guys. So it's realigning to what's important to you. And it's kind of like speaking to many people. A lot of you have been backing off from spouses and letting them get on with it. Or there's been shufflings around relationships and things like that. Is a relationship serving me, or am I serving it? Is there a 50-50 contractual thing going on here? Is it a conditional relationship, or is it unconditional? You know, there are so many things. So we are coming out of a 3D, which is a conditional relationship, to an unconditional relationship. There was so much kind of like soul prostitution in third dimensionality, which is another beautiful archetype. Carolyn, myss, you know, she's an amazing lady. Have a look at some of her videos that explains all these archetypes so much more beautifully and goes in depth. So she's worth checking out. Where we sell ourselves, where is it that we're selling ourselves? Where is it that I'm selling myself to my spouse and expecting something back in exchange for whatever it is that they're giving me? Where is it in my workplace where I'm prostituting myself, or I'm giving to get paid? Or can I just give without any expectations of outcomes? And that is an unconditional relationship rather than a conditional relationship. So there are lots of things. So if you are feeling discombobulated and the things that once you valued you are no longer valuing, great, it's all good. It's supposed to be that way. Be brave, be courageous, take the steps into the change. If you don't know what you want to do with yourself right now, then do nothing is a really, really good one. So I've been in that situation as well, where it's kind of, I've been trying to move forward into projects, and I've ended up probably beating myself up doing it. So therefore I'm not in the right energy doing it. So can I take steps to just come home to me, to do nothing, spend time with some trees, spend time meditation, yoga, something that keeps my body in alignment, so hopefully my mind will follow into alignment too. So mind and body are connected. If one's in alignment, the other one's going to be alignment. If your mind's out of alignment, your body's going to be out of alignment. If your body's out of alignment, your mind's going to be out of alignment. So again, your relationship with mind and body, mind, body and spirit as well, hugely important. So we have a relationship with everything in our creations, and it's getting focused into how it is that you want to feel. Path of love, path of fear. So that's kind of like what's been going on in the University of Life for me. Please drop any comments, you know, any of you that are experiencing similar things where you feel like your whole life is either ending or shuffling, and wherever there is endings, there are new beginnings. Grief is going to be coming up big time as well in so many ways. You know, we are going to lose people. You may grieve an old you may grieve your old job, you may grieve your old way of being, you may grieve a relationship. You know, grief is going to be a huge, great big energy that is going to come forth in this. So while we are grieving, we can remember that we are creators, and we get to choose which energy or which emotion that we want to focus on. You can feel sadness, there's nothing wrong with that. You can feel resentment, you can feel anger, you can feel all of it, guilt, all of it. It's great. It's all love in creation. It's all frequency form, still love, just a different expression of it. You can feel into all of it, but you are the one with free will who gets to choose which emotion you want to focus on. So when we, for example, are in grief, and we are focusing on the sad parts of the grief and everything else, it's a reminder that you have loved. So if there's no grief, then you haven't loved. But you can also grieve with a smile on your face. you know, to remember that I have loved that person. We've shared some awesome memories. We've done some awesome things. They loved me and I loved them. And in that remembrance of love can bring a smile in those moments of, and it's okay still to feel sadness of loss and missing them and everything else. It's all fine, it's all okay. So there's going to be a lot of grieving process coming up as well. So, but there's also going to be a lot of joy created as well, which is so exciting. So yeah, expect to do some shufflings, expect to do some changes if you haven't already, around many areas of relationships in your life. Whatever you've got a relationship with, jobs, house, home, people, money, whatever it is, expect to see some changes in all of it. To value, so value is going to be a big energy as well. So I hope this video is helping you. Again, leave some comments, whatever it is that you think. Great, brilliant. Please help other people in the community that may also find this video of value, that may be going through grief at the minute, or those changes, shufflings, relationship endings, beginnings, or even just a recontract, a rewriting a contract. So please kind of like share this, because somebody may find value in it. So like, subscribe, and have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. Bye. See ya.